Following the destruction of the Neo-Assyrian Empire in 612 BC, four powers dominated the region: Egypt, Lydia, Babylon, and the Median Empire. One of its provinces was Persis, mountainous home to the subordinate kingdom of Anshan. Its rulers were the Arhaemenid clan. In myth, the Median prince Astyages had a prophetic dream that his pregnant daughter Mandana exuded water that would soon flood all Asia, so he wed her to one of these kings of Anshan, knowing that no son of a mere Persian would ever rule the great Median Empire. But he had another dream soon after, in which vines grew from Mandana's womb to engulf the entire world. Terrified, paranoid Astyages decided to kill her child when it was born. This boy, known as Kurosh by Old Persian, one of whom was the son of a Median magnate. As part of their game, King Cyrus ended up whipping the noble boy, who then subsequently complained to his father about the incident. The perpetrator was summoned to answer before Astyages, who quickly discerned that he was the boy Harpagus had been ordered to kill. At Astyages' order, Harpagus sent his 13-year-old son to the palace, and then arrived later himself as a guest. During the feast, Astyages made Harpagus eat his own son, and although the courtier claimed, "Whatever you do, sire, is agreeable to me," he would forever bear a grudge. Meanwhile, Cyrus was spared, and even went on to become royal cupbearer, a position of considerable prestige. The young Persian also served as a royal envoy and advisor, becoming indispensable to Astyages. At the same time, Harpagus had been gathering the anti-Astyages nobles and befriending Cyrus. In 552 BC, they decided to act. The prince, who was now in his 40s, made his way back to his as the notorious spear-wielding Immortals. The King of Kings did all this under the cover of friendship treaties enacted with his powerful neighbours Babylon and Lydia. However, Lydian King Croesus began mobilizing forces to assault this up-jumped Persian usurper. By 548 BC, Cyrus sent envoys to the Ionian Greeks, asking them to stay out of the upcoming war. Crossing the Halys, and therefore the Arhaemenid frontier, by bridge in 547, Croesus and his large army approached Teria and put it under siege. Hearing of the invasion at his capital of Ecbatana, Cyrus marched west to confront the Lydians. The Lydian king drew up for battle, but in the clash that lasted the full day, the Persian center smashed straight through and badly bloodied his army, leading Croesus to withdraw to Sardis. The Lydian king expected that winter would stop the hostilities, so he sent emissaries to the allied Babylon, Egypt and Sparta, calling on them to send armies in 5 months to assist him. Crucially, he also sent all his mercenaries away with similar orders. However, bucking the trend of warfare in this period, Cyrus pushed into Lydia and encamped in sight of Sardis. Croesus sent a formidable cavalry army out to face the Persians. succeeded, and Croesus, despite heavy losses, was able to retreat into the fortress of Sardis. However, after just a 14-day siege, one of the greatest Near Eastern capitals fell. After that one lightning campaign, Sardis and all of Asia Minor was now Arhaemenid territory. Following the annexation of Croesus' kingdom, Cyrus and his generals set about creating a great new capital at Pasargadae, in addition to subduing resistance in peripheral territories such as Bactria and Urartu. By 542 BC, Cyrus's attention was focused on another great power ripe for conquest, the so-called Neo-Babylonian Empire. Persian infiltrators began spreading word throughout Nabonidus' empire that Cyrus intended to restore Marduk's supremacy in Babylon. In 540, sensing that the time was right, Cyrus dispatched his army to seize Babylon-dominated Elam with the help of a native revolt. The next year, large army and advanced north. The battle took place in the last days of September near Opis. What we do know is that Cyrus's forces, fighting under the gold and red Shabaz standard, won yet another crushing victory. Opis was plundered, while Gabara surrendered, earning a place in the Persian hierarchy. Nabonidus went south by river. Rather than facing another hostile army in the field, Cyrus instead arrived with his vast host outside the massive, sprawling city of Babylon to find Nabonidus' armies bivouacked inside, braced for an extensive siege. A full-scale assault, they decided, would result in massive casualties, so they decided on a complex strategy relying on subtlety, intelligence, and timing. Cyrus himself took every non-combatant, including servants, slaves, and attendants, north. Arriving soon thereafter at a basin, Cyrus had a wide channel dug from the disused basin to the river, and chopped giant palm trees down to act as levees to redirect the water. When the earth was removed, a great portion of the Euphrates' flow was diverted into the basin rather than flowing towards. In the late autumn of 530 BC, with his new hegemonic empire organized and set to rights, Cyrus took his army to confront a deadly new foe in what is today Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. There, a ferocious Scythian tribe, known as the Massagetæ, were gathering a massive army of both infantry and the famous nomadic cavalry. Cyrus, who seems to have become arrogant from all his successes, was informed that the previous chieftain of this bothersome people was dead. In his place ruled the daunting Amazon-esque Scythian queen, known to us as Tomiris. While the Persians were in the process of constructing a pontoon over the Araxes, messengers arrived from Tomiris bearing an offer of her own. Tomiris decreed that the bridge was unnecessary. Either she would retreat 3 days from the river and willingly fight the Persians there on open ground, or the Persians could let the Massagetæ cross instead, whichever was to their liking. Then, after setting up a luxurious camp and then feigning a retreat, the Persians lured a third of the Massagetæ army, who feasted and drank the spoils. Then this force, led by Tomiris' son, was set upon by the whole Persian army and destroyed. Tomiris' son killed himself, and his mother swore to avenge him by giving Cyrus the blood he clearly desired. On December 4th, 530 BC, The armies of Cyrus and Tomyris clashed. However, when the Massagetae got in close, their heavy bronze armor and brutal battle axes ripped the Arhaemenid army to ribbons. Almost all of it was annihilated, and Cyrus was killed. Cyrus's remains came to rest at the tomb of Cyrus in Pasargadae. There was an inscription on the tomb that read, "I am Cyrus, son of Cambyses, who founded the Empire of Persia and ruled over Asia. Do not grudge me my monument."